Welcome to Iliano's Ristorante in Hamilton. I'm Tom Williams, and it's time for another conversation. This month with two of the greatest athletes in Cape Atlantic League history. Fred Dalzell out of Holy Spirit, Steve Parker out of Mainland. Fred and Steve will be right here when we come back. Prime Events, in association with Crossover Productions, presents a conversation with Fred Dalzell and Steve Parker. Brought to you by Iliano's Ristorante, 705 12th Street in Hamilton. Diners in Hamilton have known Iliano's for decades. For the rest of you, it's worth the trip. Now, let's begin our conversation with Fred and Steve. There they are. Fred Dalzell on the left, Steve Parker on the right. Fred, when's the first time you met this guy?
Well, I can remember the first time I heard the phrase that I heard for most of my athletic career. We can win this game if we just stop Steve Parker. It was a JV football game for the Panthers versus those powerful Northfield Cardinals. And I was playing linebacker at the time, which shows you how long ago it was. And he was the quarterback for Northfield. So I heard that for the first time. I'd hear it through basketball in grade school and high school baseball, basketball, and football. So, but I think the first time we really got to meet was on an all-star game for the Atlantic County Football League. And once again, he was a quarterback, I was a running back, so I don't think those coaches were too sharp there.
Yeah, it was ironic how it changed in high school. I became a running back, Fred became the quarterback at Holy Spirit. But yeah, we played at an all-star game, and somewhere's a picture floating around of Fred and I. We couldn't find that in Convention Hall. We played the all-star game there.
What do you remember about the first time you heard of him?
He's a lot bigger than everybody else. Fred was his height when he was in 7th grade, I think. Very fast, very talented, very strong running back, and I don't remember stopping him. I don't think we ever beat him. And well, we didn't beat him in high school either, so probably.
Well, I was football.
As a football, yeah, football.
Baseball,
baseball, a little
basketball, a little
different
story.
Yeah.
Steve, tell us about your family life when growing up in Northfield.
I grew up in Northfield. My father played a lot of sports. He was a nose guard for the old Pleasantville Jokers, the junior, semi-pro football team. A lot of families around there, and he played softball. He was very fast. One of the traits I did inherit from him, I could run a little bit. And yeah, I had a family of 5. I was the middle of 5 children, and we're big Yankee fans back then. Die-hard Yankee fans. My father was.
Oh,
I never had a glove, Tom, believe it or not, all through high school. Every baseball glove I ever had was a Mickey Mantle model. He was my idol.
Wow. How about you, Fred, growing up?
Growing up, I also had, my dad loved sports, but my parents met playing tennis. So he was a tennis player, but he loved baseball, basketball, and football. And one of my earliest memories was going to see he was from Pittsburgh, see the Pirates beat the Yankees in the 60 World Series. So I know you're a Yankee fan and Steve's a Yankee
Bill
fan.
Mazeroski.
So that holds a special place in my heart. But just from a big family, and just remember a lot after dinner going out and having a catch with Dad, those type of moments.
I think I know where you will go with this, but you just mentioned memories. But what's your greatest memory as a high school athlete, Fred?
Oh, boy, that's, I think the one that I hear about, I don't think a week goes by I don't hear about being on the team that first beat Atlantic High. It had been since my mother was in high school at Holy Spirit, since Holy Spirit had won that game, and I was blessed to play with some great teammates and had a great coach in Lou Paludi, who we just lost, and just had a special game where it all came together, and it was a super memory. It was a great place to play. Just awesome experience.
I got that one right, and I think yours has something to do, Steve, with the #1 team in South Jersey on Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. Of course, was the Thanksgiving game my senior year, 69. Oakcrest had won 19 in a row. I think they were ranked #1 in the state at the time or something like that. And we were able to go to Mays Landing and beat them 20-14. And it was just, the memory seems like it was yesterday. It was so special and stick in my mind forever.
Who are some of the best players you ever played with in any of the three sports?
Oh, boy. I was fortunate to play with a lot of really good players at Mainland. Come to mind was Dave Larned. Dave Larned was a baseball center fielder, basketball player, good tight end in football. Kenny Fetter, third baseman, quarterback.
got Vince Salsto. Eddie Broom was a great wide receiver, who we lost not too long ago. Mark Ulrich was the other wide receiver, defensive back. It was, it became more, and it still is, as Fred will tell you, these guys that we played in high school are, lifelong friends. You never forget those guys and who they were. Gary Skyble was a great pitcher for us at Mainland, too, that was a real good friend of mine.
How about you, Fred?
I think number one has to be playing basketball with Chris Ford, who we just lost. Chris, I always say, was a great player, even a better person. He introduced my wife and I, so he made me take her out in high school. I just said, that's a nice girl, you ought to take her out. So that's a special memory with Chris. Football, we had a special team. John Roman, who was our split end, who later played lineman for the Jets. Jerry Stoll, John McKillop, both played college tackles, Division I. Kevin Corcoran was the running back. Basketball, besides Chris, Jackie Matthews, Larry DiGiovanni, legends in their own right, and just a lot of great memories, and blessed to play with some great teams.
Well, taking it on the other side, Fred, who the best players you played against?
I think the best athlete I ever played against, and I think we might have even talked about this, Billy Bland for Oakcrest was just
Absolutely.
a super athlete, incredible physical skills. Larry Gustafson played on that team, Mike Huberson. They had a special team. That was the team that they upset. Sacred Heart at Patone, Melchione at Bishop Eustace. Some really good basketball teams that we played against when Chris was there. But they're the ones that jump right to my mind.
How about you, the best opponent, Steve?
Well, Billy Bland was the best athlete I ever played against. Billy Bland was a phenomenal athlete. But probably the one I remember the most is Raleigh Eastwick. Raleigh Eastwick, when he was a senior, I was a junior, and we beat him in the state semifinal, or I guess it was the South Jersey final then. We beat him, I believe it was like 3-2 in 10 innings. I had fortunate to have 3 hits off on that day, and of course he went on to be, the Fireman of the Year and finished I think 4th or 5th in the Cy Young with Cincinnati and stuff. So that's quite a memory I'll never forget, because he was throwing, back then in high school it wasn't these 190. He was throwing 90 back in high school. It was legit, and it was a special memory. And
how'd you do against them?
I had 3 hits against him.
That's why it's a special memory.
That's why I remember. Yeah, if I struck out 4 times, I probably wouldn't remember.
Steve, you ever ask anybody for an autograph?
That's a good question. I don't know that I have.
Wow.
Oh,
I don't know that I have.
well, we'll get you Fred's autograph before
I already
we're
have his. That one counts. I do have Fred's.
Fred, what about you?
The one I can remember is, and it was a tough one, and unfortunately my mother threw it away.
Oh, no.
Was Roberto Clemente.
Oh.
And
Wow.
Roberto didn't give a lot of autographs, and in '60 they're saying they had announcer Bob Prince, "Beat 'em Bucks" was their big saying, "Beat 'em Bucks," and I had something that said "Beat 'em Bucks" in Spanish, and it was a bumper sticker. And I went up to the game and I showed it to Roberto, and he came over and he liked it, and I asked him for the autograph. We sort of traded autographs for the "Beat 'em Bucks" in Spanish, and but that was one, and. The other player of that time that I was a big fan of was Bill Verdon, to be surprised. He was actually my favorite player. And I think because of how nice he was to me at the time. So, but they were 2 that I can remember right off.
We'll be right back with Fred Dalzell and Steve Parker.
You probably know what a great place Iliano's Ristorante is.
Steve, you're very active in youth sports as a coach. What was the experience like? What did you get out of it?
Lifetime memories, Tom. Some of my best friends are quote unquote kids that I coached that are now retired police officers.
Does that come a lot into play for you, Steve?
I'm
Being
like,
retired police
wow,
officers? and
man,
stuff?
it helps. But no, I think back to obviously some of the great teams. Like I had some really good teams with the Egg Harbor Township Orioles junior high football. I had Albie Mallon was one of my quarterbacks. Mike Bracey, my son Scott. Had Kevin Stetzer played for me. He was an All-State player. We had tremendous players, and the camaraderie was unbelievable. And they're lifelong friends, all of them. That I see them now, and they still call me coach. Stuff. It's really nice. After the years, I'll get something, a Facebook or something. Hey, coach, it's just so and so from your '72 team, or it's really nice. I can't. I'm so blessed, Tom, to have those relationships with those men. And they're women, and they were cheerleaders, and they become family friends. But yeah, it was tremendous. I got more out of it than they did. I can tell you that.
And you're probably happy about the continued success of the Atlantic County Junior Football League.
Yeah, it's had its rough times recently, Tom. It's broken off into a couple splinter groups, and then they had unlimited weight division and this and that. But we had a big celebration a couple years ago. It was the 65th anniversary, and we invited back all the players who had gone on to play, coach, scout, or something in the in the NFL, and there was quite a group. There was maybe 15, 17 guys that had gone on to bigger and better things. A couple of them are still active, but it was really nice to see those guys, and it was a great event. It really was. Brought back a lot of memories.
Fred, you went on to play at Princeton. Tell us about that experience.
Great experience. Once again, it's funny. You remember the friends, and more than anything. And over the pandemic, through the internet and Zooms, a lot of us have reconnected, and it's hard to believe, but we're coming up on a 50th anniversary of our graduation. But the reconnecting with them has been great, and just good memories.
Was there a highlight in your football career at Princeton?
Probably my highlight was first game. I came in and I threw the ball. Having played for Ludy's offense, I like to throw the ball a little bit more, and they let us call my own plays, and I set a record for completions. I also set a record for attempts, but I don't like to mention that one as much. But that was probably a highlight.
Now, you're an orthopedic surgeon, and you talk about teammates and everything else. Well, the operating room is a team. Did being an athlete and playing on a team make that work better?
It absolutely does, and I've actually given a talk on surgery being a team sport, because like the team, there's the people who sort of set things up for you, the nurses, having the right equipment there, and if that's not there, the surgeon's sort of like the quarterback of the team. You get all the credit, you get all the blame, but really it's the offensive line and the people in the OR that sort of set you up and can make you really look good or look bad. And so it truly is like a team sport.
And Tom, by the way, I have Fred's signature. I had an ulnar nerve, which was the Tommy John surgery. Back then, they didn't replace it with the.
You actually repaired the ligament.
Just repaired the ligament. Yeah. Fred did that. He's done both my shoulders, my knee a couple times.
Steve helped put my daughters through college.
So you have something better than an autograph.
Yeah, I have his autograph all over.
And we'll be right back with Fred and Steve.
Traditional Italian cuisine has three main qualities: use of the highest and freshest quality ingredients, healthy portions, and most importantly, the feeling of family. At Iliano's Ristorante, 705 12th Street in Hamilton, they take pride in providing all three qualities. All food is prepared to order. They want to make sure that everyone has their best Italian meal. If you're in the mood for great food with a great atmosphere, come out to Iliano's, a taste of Italy in your own backyard, and call 609-561-3444 to talk about their catering service. Prime Events receives continuous support from Shoppy's Trophies and Gifts. Order online at Shoppy.com. Calvi Electric, with over 110 years of excellence in electrical contracting. Gillian's Wonderland Pier, amusements with a family in mind on the Ocean City Boardwalk. Shore True Value Hardware, they're ready to help on New Road in Summers Point. Johnson's Famous Popcorn, open all year on the Ocean City Boardwalk. Blue Water Graphics, if you need signs, you need Captain Charlie. And Ulmer's Appliances, a family-owned and operated business in Cape May County for 50 years.
Gentlemen, let me throw out some names and tell me what you think about, what you remember. And Fred, let's start with Chris Ford. You talked about him a little bit before.
I think I said it best when I said great player, even better person, good friend. I think we were talking a little bit earlier. If there was ever a three-point shot back when Chris was playing, there'd be numbers that would never be reached today. But as good a player as he was a great passer and teammate, and looked to make his team. He made his teammates better. He wasn't just a scorer; he was someone who made his teammates better with his passing, and never forgot. He amazed me with the way he could remember names and people, old teachers, and just as great a player as he was a better person.
How about you?
I became friends with Chris a lot more. I knew him, pee against him a little bit, but later in life, I became real good friends with Chris and would see him all the time out with his grandkids and did a little electrical repairs for him and over in the Ventnor house and stuff. But really, like Fred said, great player, but a better person. He really was.
Steve, what about Nuncy Sacco?
Nuncy Sacco was one of the nicest men you ever meet. He was, a basketball coach. I played some basketball in junior high. When I went to high school, my intention was to play football and baseball. I wasn't going to play basketball. I was going to try to, concentrate more on those two sports. But lo and behold, I took mechanical drawing as an elective as a freshman. And Nuncy Sacco was a mechanical drawing teacher. So real quickly, it became obvious that I was going to be playing basketball for Nuncy because he talked about it every day. And
you wanted to pass.
Come my senior year, I was not going to play basketball and concentrate on baseball. And he said to me, "You're not taking my class this year?" I said, "No." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I don't have to look at you while I'm not playing basketball." Obviously, I did, and he was such a good guy and such a very probably he and Andy Prohaska, my football coach, both were probably the most low key head coaches that I ever played for. They just, never really got upset. They were very measured in what they did, and and I've told people before, Nuncy was a great friend, but Andy Prohaska, God bless him, was probably the most influential person in my life beside my father. He's just someone that you wanted to please, wanted to, make him proud of, and I'll never forget him.
He's the only guy that was a head coach at Ocean City and Mainland.
Right.
Went from one to the other. Fred, how about Lou Paludi?
Lou Paluti's life changer for me. Just great coach, great teacher. I think that he didn't only tell you what to do, but why you were doing it. So that he gave me a great understanding of offense. He was an innovator.
Great motivator, huh?
Great motivator and innovator. The Army trucks and things.
Bring the Army trucks to Mainland to get out.
But he had him in breaks in class. He had you in watching film and explaining what was going on, so that you knew why you were doing it. And we were running trips offenses, empty backfields, motion to double wideouts, and things that today they're calling a wide open offense. He was doing back in the 70s.
How did the team react with some of his stunts with the Army?
Great. It's just he knew how to. He knew. I remember what made young men tick. He knew how to sort of fire them up, and he'd come up with something new for every game that would have you fired up and ready to go. And he just understood and he had some great motivators with him too, and Frank Finnerty and Stan Bergman, they're legends in their own right. That knew how to motivate young men. Jim Gallagher. I mean, he put together a great staff. Not only and that's what great coaches do.
Steve, what about Jim Schaefer?
Jim Schaefer was he was special. He was one of the guys that sort of took me on the wing.
as basketball. I played JV basketball as a freshman. He was our coach. He was the running back coach, football team, and got very. He was a different type of motivator than Jim. Jim used to like to poke you a little bit, try to make you better. He wasn't the put his arm around you type of guy. He was the kick you in the butt guy, and need that. And he really helped me a lot to become a little more aggressive, especially on the basketball court. And a lot of good memories of him. He's a good guy. Of course, we did games together for years for you, and got to be real good friends when obviously after high school too.
Fred, Bill Dibert.
Bill was great, just a good person, and loved playing for him. He sort of took me under his wing as a freshman. I got to play on the varsity. We had a couple guys who were out, and we were talking about biggest thrills. It ended up that a couple guys had some academic problems, and I was going to have to start as a freshman. And in those days, when Chris was playing, you had to get to the game for the freshman game. It was freshman JV varsity, or they'd close the doors. So before this, I'd played before 30 people, and Jackie Matthews comes down, throws a pass to Chris. Chris goes behind his back, throws it. I just make a layup at the end, and there's a sound in the gym that I had never heard before, and had a hard time even going back. But he also was someone who I think was ahead of his time with pressing defenses. Was a student of the game, and he also was a good teacher.
Now, Steve's son starts his career at Holy Spirit.
Yes.
And your daughters play at Mainland.
I had one to play at Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
But,
How'd that all come about?
Well, as far as my son Scott, he was very successful at the junior high level as a quarterback, and that's one thing I'll say about Ed Burns. And there always was the old adage that Holy Spirit used to recruit and all that kind of stuff. He would come to the games and watch him play. Never was outwardly recruiting my son. He congratulated him, said you really did a nice job, and we all, I know who he was. And of course, at that time, Holy Spirit was just really above everybody as far as a better team. And Scott came to me and says, "Dad, I want to go to Holy Spirit, play football there." So he went to Holy Spirit as a freshman, fortunately, and Ed, was really good to him. He ended up being the kicker, beat Ocean City 3-0 on the field. He only scored a game his freshman year. He ended up starting quarterback the last 4 games. So it was going well for him, but he missed his friends, the kids he grew up with, who he played junior high with. So he left and came back to Egg Harbor Township, but not before he went and found Ed Burns and talked to him face to face and explained to his reasons and stuff. And Ed was the most gracious and understanding, and he said to him, "Good luck. We're going to kick your butt." But we had some great games against him after that too.
Oh yeah. And your daughters had some success.
Yeah, I have 5 daughters, and they were.
And how many granddaughters?
4 granddaughters. We're 9 girls in a row. We got a baseball team going.
Wow.
And but we had runners. I don't know where the speed came from. It wasn't from me. It must have been from Jane. My one daughter was captain of a national champion squash team at Yale, and Jenny was captain of Bucknell's track team, and Allie played field hockey at Sacred Heart. So they all played a lot of sports and kept me busy watching them.
Yale, you didn't caulk her into Princeton?
That's an interesting. That's a story unto itself. You could go a whole, but they were going back and forth, and she ended up at the right place. I'll put it that way. And actually, she was born when I was doing my residency at Yale, so she was sort of going back to her roots. So she was actually born in New Haven and ended up going back there for college.
And Fred and I have become really good friends over the years, one of our best friends, and his daughters are just absolutely phenomenal. They always call me and talk to me when I come to their house. They're always teasing. They love to tease me. They're just really great people. They really are, all of them.
We'll be back.
You probably know what a great place Iliano's Ristorante is.
Gentlemen, let's talk about golf. Steve, what's the best golf hole in the area?
Oh, that's a very good
Or
question.
more than one,
The best golf, probably, in my opinion, because I play there almost every week. But to me, the toughest golf hole I think I've played in the area is the 10th hole at McCullough. It's a par 4, not overly long, but the green is like ridiculous. It's the side of a mountain, and no matter where you hit the ball, it's almost impossible to keep the ball on the green. It's just, and the guy, we say you should blow it up and do it over again, but it's still there, and it's amazing.
I thought you were going to say number 2 at McCullough's.
Well, number 2 at McCullough.
I was playing with Steve, and he had a hole in one there.
In a tournament last year, we were playing a tournament, and it was a scramble, and that was our last hole of our scramble concept. And me and Fred, and I think was Eddie with us, maybe Eddie Gant, and a fourth, and we all hit our shots, and then we were all back to the pin. I said, I think mine's a little long. We looked, and there's 2 balls behind the green, and mine wasn't in. They looked, and somebody looked in the hole. He said, "It's in the hole." So I had a hole and won that match. It was exciting.
How about a hole outside the area?
I've played Pebble Beach twice. Obviously, right there, and we played up in Long Island some unbelievable last couple of years. Shinnecock was a little, but I would say probably Pebble Beach. I think Pebble Beach hole number 8, I believe it is.
Yeah.
8 isn't 8 the one went out to where what's name's house should be guy from Links. Yeah, you go over a cliff, and there's a sign there. It says, don't go near the edge. Somebody had driven over a cliff, and it's a beautiful hole, but really hard hole.
Spectacular.
What about your thoughts of top holes?
Top holes here, I like number 1 at Galloway. Is just a great opening hole and good challenge. Been blessed to play a couple great courses around the country, but 17 at Cypress Point, which is out near Pebble,
Right.
is a 300-yard or 200-yard shot over the water on a par 3, rocky coast, just spectacular, and probably my favorite golf hole.
It's ironic, neither of us mentioned one of the most storied golf courses ever is in New Jersey. We both played Pine Valley, and we didn't mention it because all the holes are spectacular there.
If it was golf course, I'd say Pine Valley.
Yeah. Was it the Elephant or something they call it? The one hole with a par 3 with a big sand trap in front of it?
Yeah.
So, Fred, what's the best part of his game?
The abuse that he gives me when and teasing. No, his putting's great. He's a great putter.
And how about?
Well, they still complain about Fred in the tournaments we play because at our age we get to play the forward tees. And Fred still hits the ball like Jack Nicholson's prime. So he's driving the ball 80 yards past everybody, and they complain about it all the time. Especially when he's my teammate, I said, "Hey, just take advantage of the rules."
Yeah, you guys were both 3-sport athletes. You might be the only guy in the state who's had his number retired in all 3 sports. Isn't that correct? Well, I mean, you don't know if you're the only one, but it's correct.
That's an honor, yes.
It's just so unusual. How do you feel about the fact that there's less and less 3-sport athletes, and even the scheduling is being set up by high school authorities to give people more time off and so forth?
In some ways, I think it's good, but also I think it's bad. It's so much concentration on one sport, and it's not like they take time off. They're playing 2 teams, travel baseball, 2 teams, travel basketball. So I see a lot of more overuse injuries now because people are going into the travel baseball team. There are other baseball it's not being used for rest. It's being used for more competition in one isolated sport. So as a physician, I see them putting stress on certain parts of their body and overuse injuries of the elbow and shoulder for baseball. So in a way, I sort of miss it.
People don't think about it, but swimming, it also, repetition is a problem, right?
Yeah. High it's if you reach high school level swimming, it's almost certain you'll have had some injury along the way. There's so much, as I say, travel teams, summer teams, this team, that team.
But Doc, what's the sport now that gives the most injuries now?
It's a sport that he's taking up, and I'm making time in the office when he gets done. Pickleball is my number 1 injury I see right now.
Is that right?
That's a new craze, especially with old people playing. I started playing a little bit, and of course I had a
torn muscle in my calf that took a couple months of rehab. He had to take care of me already, but it's very, very popular, and all ages play it. Some of them a lot better than others. Some of them take advantage of it, like my son. He likes to hit me as hard as he can with a ball. But it's nice way to meet people. It's a good exercise. I told him I started playing a little bit more, try to build my cardio up a little bit because I'm in January, Tom. I'm headed to Florida to play in a week-long baseball tournament.
It's going to give me chest pains here.
It's a tournament they've been run for years. Some of the local guys go down to, and you have to have so many players over 50, so many players over 60, and you have to have 1 or 2 players over 70, so it makes me qualified.
Do they have to have a team doctor?
I think Fred may have to go to the team doctor. But I've been in the batting cage a little bit, taking some swings, and then I can still hit a little bit. But I told him the first time I went in, I swung for 10 minutes. I was exhausted. I mean, literally, I had to go and take a nap. It's you don't realize how much cardio is involved in that.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
The home run derby. It's amazing, those guys in
Yes.
baseball.
Oh.
Well, of course, they're in top shape, but still. Does golf give you release for your competitive?
It's the last locker room. it's the place you can go and do it. And I love competing with Steve because he likes to compete and as much as I do. But it's fun, and it's a place where you can go and bond with guys like you did before. So I like to joke around and say it's the last locker room. But
I agree.
But you teamed up to win a championship recently.
yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Good.
We
Yeah,
did. We
there go.
set the. We have a tournament that I run. It's called the Dump Cup. That played in McCullough's, which is formerly on a dump. So we have little shirts with Oscar de Grouch looking at a trash can. It's a lot of fun. And this year was I believe it's our 10th. And our team came back and won like 8 out of 12 singles matches to win by 1/2 point. So my son and the other guys on the other team were not happy, but that's too bad, fellas.
And the colors were blue this year. I told him how good he would have looked in blue instead of that green. I think.
Speaking of which, we're taping this the day after Mainland defeated Winslow and will play in the state championship game and could become the first Cape Atlantic League school to ever win 14 games in a season. And Holy Spirit, which lost a tough game in the first round to a very good Red Bank Catholic, has almost every key player back. You keep track of what's going on at your alma maters?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Mainland last couple of years, this year particularly, I watched the young quarterback last year, John Cicchini, I think his name is, as a freshman. You could tell he was going to be special. And they have so many really good athletes on that team.
That's a special team. I've gotten a chance to see them also.
And the other thing is their coaching staff. Besides Chuck Smith, who's a very good coach, has been there for a few years, they come in and they get an offensive coordinator named Clyde Folsom, who has won numerous titles at West Deptford. And they get a defense corner named Tim Watson, who won one, at Cedar Creek and was a great player and a mainland guy. So their coaching staff is phenomenal, and you can see the kids. It's especially, I think today the kids, it's easier for them to buy in when they see someone who's had success at that type of level, and they're just saying this is Steve Parker who, played at Mainland. So who's he? This guy played in the pros, or this guy played, and I think that's a big advantage for them. I think they've done well, and they're very, very well coached, and nice group of kids, and looking forward to seeing them play next week.
And Holy Spirit is going to be okay for a couple of years.
They look like the tradition carries on here. This year I thought might be a down year for them, but Coach did a great job, and I'm looking forward to that Thanksgiving game next week. I'll be there to watch that.
We'll have a final word after this.
Prime Events receives continuous support from Shoppy's Trophies and Gifts. Order online at Shoppy.com. Calvi Electric, with over 110 years of excellence in electrical contracting. Gillian's Wonderland Pier, amusements with a family in mind on the Ocean City Boardwalk. Shore True Value Hardware, they're ready to help on New Road in Summers Point. Johnson's Famous Popcorn, open all year on the Ocean City Boardwalk. Blue Water Graphics, if you need signs, you need Captain Charlie. And Ulmer's Appliances, a family-owned and operated business in Cape May County for 50 years. Traditional Italian cuisine has 3 main qualities: use of the highest and freshest quality ingredients, healthy portions, and most importantly, the feeling of family. At Iliano's Ristorante, 705 12th Street in Hamilton, they take pride in providing all three qualities. All food is prepared to order. They want to make sure that everyone has their best Italian meal. If you're in the mood for great food with a great atmosphere, come out to Iliano's, a taste of Italy in your own backyard, and call 609-561-3444 to talk about their catering service. We want to thank Fred Dalzell, Dr. Fred Dalzell, and Governor Steve Parker for their participation, two of the greatest athletes of all time at Ocean City, and all the people, of course, here at Iliano's Ristorante in Hamilton. Don't forget, you can see some of our previous conversations. They're available at primeevents.net. And watch the closing credits. We've got some more images of Steve and Fred to show you throughout their lives and so forth. Thanks very much for joining us, and we hope you'll be back again when we have another conversation next month.